Hi, it's Thursday and I'm checking in with a bit of a hack, if you will. This is how I make Alfredo sauce for fettuccine Alfredo. And there's absolutely nothing healthy about this recipe. Welcome back. Now, like I said, if one of your resolutions for this year is to be healthy, this is not the way to start it out. There's nothing healthy about this. I'm sure there's somebody out there who could crack the code on making this healthy, but this is not healthy. So the basics of what you're gonna need is a half a stick of butter, a package of cream cheese, and you could probably get this in the low fat or something like that. Mash it up so it gets a little soft. And then I usually use from the deli like just a parmesan or a romano or a parmesan reggiano. You could use that even, but I was out of this, and so we just ran over to Safeway real quick, and this was closest to the door, so I grabbed it, and it'll work just. So the basic spices I'm going to use is just powdered garlic and some pepper. I don't really usually put any salt in it because the cheeses all kind of have a little bit of their own salt in them, and I think the measurement on the cheeses here would probably be a quarter cup to a half cup, but I've been making this so long that I tend to eyeball it. And in case you're wondering, this is my winter uniform. It's my dingy green sweatshirt over my gray t-shirt, my famous gray t-shirt. So I've got my skillet warmed up here, and I'm just gonna take my half stick of butter and I'm gonna get it melting in my pan. And that's actually a little bit warmer than I want, but it'll get the job done. But the basic first step is you just want to get the better part of this stick of butter melted in a pan. So probably over medium heat. And see, it's almost getting melted down. So as that gets almost halfway melted, I'm gonna start squeezing my cream cheese into the pan. And usually we try to stand around and mash this with our hands and get it all warmed up so that it'll easily come out of here. And I'm going to squeeze just the last little bit out of there. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to take my kind of fork tool here, and I'm going to start kind of breaking up this cream cheese a little bit as it starts to melt in with the butter. And this is kind of a slow process. Hey Seth, I'm gonna need like I forgot to get like a half a glass of milk and a half a glass of water. So now it's getting, see if we'd mashed this up long enough with our fingers, then this would have been a lot more easy to mash once I got it in here. But now it's to that good consistency where I can just mash it and get it to start getting smaller so it'll melt. And so from here, once we get this melted, we're gonna start to kind of build up a bit of a roux. So that's, if you've ever made gravy, that's kind of what you want to think about this like, is getting your roux going. So the first step, that butter, is kind of our oil, and there's not going to be any flour in this, so you kind of maybe think about the cream cheese as being your flour in here. So now, just like any good Alfredo sauce, we're going to put a bunch of garlic in here. And this is probably a half a tablespoon to start out with. And then I'm looking for a certain smell. And when I smell that, that's when I'm probably going to stop putting the garlic in there. And I'm just gonna keep getting this mashed around until it's really, really small pieces. And then I'm gonna add in my hard cheeses. And once that's done, then I'm just gonna slowly work it up into a sauce with my milk and my water. Now it's to a good kind of thick consistency where it's no longer goopy. And I'm just gonna go in, and so that's, yeah, see, that's about a 1/4 cup, but I'm probably gonna do more than that. But I'm gonna start with that, and like I said, just kind of like a roux, I'm gonna keep kind of building that into my first base. And I'm sticking a little bit here, so I'm gonna put a little bit of milk in here. Okay, now I'm gonna work this around just like you would, like I said, like a good gravy. And I'm gonna get it really thick where I've just got openings start to open like here. After I get some more of that butter, I gotta turn this down a little bit more. Yeah, because I'm getting too warm. So I'm gonna come off the burner for a second, and I'm gonna get me a little bit more cheese. So while I'm digging in this bag, it doesn't start sticking. And I'm gonna throw that cheese on there. I'm gonna cover it up again with a bunch of garlic powder, and I'm gonna give it some more pepper, just to where we can see some pepper start to come through the sauce. And now I'm gonna go back to my burner, and I'm gonna start working this cheese in. And this time the cheese is gonna get really thick. And that's okay. I want it to work up into really like this thick gob. And then I'm gonna start breaking that down with my 1/2 glass of water and my 1/2 glass of milk. And I mean, you could use 1/2 and 1/2, of course. That'd probably make it a lot richer. But I always just, and sometimes if I don't have milk around, I'll just use water. It doesn't matter. The roux not gonna know. Okay, so now I'm gonna add a little bit of my 1/2 water, 1/2 milk. I'm gonna get this flaked up. Okay, and I'm gonna let it, I'm just gonna keep stirring it and working it around while it's bubbling until I get all the milk mixed in with my cheese mix. And it just kind of gets nice and even and smoother the more that we go along here. Let me get out of the light so you can get a good picture of how nice that looks. I still got some liquid over here and a little bit of butter, and that's what I'm looking to do every time, is get all the liquid and any of the butter that I see on the surface mixed in. Now watch it as those bubbles, now just like in a gravy, as those bubbles start to come up, that's going to tell me that it's time to add some more liquid. And so I'm going to add in enough to get it to settle back down, and then I'm just going to go start swirling my fork tool in here again to get all that milk and water mixed into my sauce. So you see, you can get this where you can come off as thick or as thin as you want in terms of sauce. And if you've got a smaller family than I do, you could actually probably stop after this turn. But I'm gonna thicken this up. I'm gonna break it down and bring it back up probably 2 more times to get enough sauce for my bunch, because this is a favorite around my house. A couple of the kids love this, and so there's gonna be a lot of seconds going on. So look, again, now we've got everything mixed up, and I'm gonna back off of it, and there's those bubbles. Those same bubbles are the ones that you're looking for when you're making a gravy. And if you moved it back, you'd see that opening there. And that opening in a gravy is where you pour your liquid. And I'm gonna run the swirls around it one more time. Seth, honey, you gotta get the noodles going. And typically when I get done with this, because I'm feeding such a large bunch, normally my noodles would already be done. And then I would just take and I'd pour this over top of all the noodles. That way it gets spread out amongst the noodles and it's not getting used up by being individually served on everybody's plate. And I got everything mixed in again. And like I said, I'm just going to build it up one more time. And look at that. It's such a nice little consistency. And we're going to let our bubbles pop up. See, there they are. And that's how you know your roux or your sauce or your gravy is ready for some more liquids. Okay, so this is the last time I'm gonna build it back up, and sorry my noodles aren't done yet. I'll catch back up in a minute when the noodles are done, and you can watch me pour this over my noodles. Okay, so I had to wait a minute for my noodles to get ready. So this might look a little bit thicker than normal, but look at that. So what I usually do is I pour about half in there, and then you wanna come in here? And then I just mix it in with my noodles to get it coated. And then I'm gonna put some more in there. And I kind of mix it layer by layer, like I said, so that every layer gets plenty of Alfredo sauce on it. So everybody gets a good amount when they get plated. And now I got just one more layer. And usually when we have this, we have it a lot in the summer. So we have it with bratwurst. And I'm pretty burnt out on bratwurst, but my family isn't. So I got some sweet Italian sausage as a little treat that I'm going to add to this. But otherwise, this is usually just how we serve it. But today I'm going to add in some extra sausage to just kind of kick it up for everybody that loves meat in the house. And it's going to give it just an extra thick heartiness. So we're going to finish up our late delayed Brussels sprouts and get them in the oven. And so I'm not going to necessarily get this plated for you right now. But you can see that this was a super easy hack for making some of the yummiest Alfredo sauce that you're ever going to make at home. And I just want to thank you as always for checking in with us, and I hope you have the best day ever.